another heavy figure in sports that could be on the move. This guy is a Hall of Famer, a legend, Deion Sanders. He hails from originally Florida State, got drafted to the Falcons, right? Got drafted to the Falcons. He got traded to the, if I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys. He's played for the 49ers
first.
49ers first, and then the Cowboys.
I think so. Maybe another way.
Took his talents to Jackson State, revitalized or re-energized the HBCU community, brought more eyes and attention to that. Then he moved over to Colorado, took his son and also one of the greatest athletes we've probably ever seen in college sports who played two-way in the modern era. And you take those two individuals, there's all three. So you take two of your sons and you take Travis Hunter over to Colorado. You have rebuilt that program as well, right? Another 2-year run. And now you're sitting at the doorstep of the Dallas Cowboys, who Jerry Jones has already reached out to him and said, hey, he probably said it in the same way, but he probably was like, just go to dinner with me. Just come to dinner with me. I know you want to be back in Texas. I know you want to be back in you might like Colorado, but nobody likes freezing. Not freezing like that. You can freeze in Dallas, So
I was going to say, you can definitely freeze in Dallas.
What's the win-win here? Is it a win or is it a loss? Like, if he leaves and goes to the Cowboys, what is he looking at? What are we looking at?
It's I don't even know if it's a win-win. I kind of go back and forth, just take a little bit, but mostly you know how I feel about the Cowboys, and you know why I stand with the Cowboys. For the people who don't know why I stand with the Cowboys, I just go ahead and accept it from a former Cowboy himself. Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, Troy Aikman. This past week, Troy said, or was it just this past Monday? It was just Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday.
He said, I spent 12 years with the Cowboys. I love the Cowboys. But is this a coveted job for a head coach? I can't agree with you on that. That's a 12-year vet for the Cowboys. Starting quarterback. Hall of Famer. Super Bowl winner said that. Why do you think he said that? Because he knows his former boss. Unfortunately, it does not seem winning is the number one object of being a Dallas Cowboy. Jerry wants to sell tickets. He wants to make sure that the Cowboys have notoriety, which they do. Everybody know. Most profitable franchise in NFL sports history. $11 billion at this point right now. And if I'm a head coach, frankly, I don't want to be a part of the show. That's just my personal opinion, especially for someone like Deion. Deion is, for lack of better words, he a real man. And like I said earlier when we was talking in a group chat, he a real coach. He gonna put his people in place to make sure that what he says goes. He wants to make sure that his people are taken care of. He wants to make sure that he has the right people around, and he ain't about no funny business. Does Deion come with flash? Does he come with the right words here and there? Yeah, but that's all in all. He's serious in all facets. He wants business to be business. And when it comes to somebody like Jerry, as much as he like to play that he know all things football, I don't think Deion gonna fall for it. If Jerry's willing to take a step back, cool. Let Deion run everything. You be GM or you be owner. But when it comes to football, listen to what I gotta say. Let me do my thing. Otherwise, and then like he even said, this is not a good place for young coaches to even go and learn. Unless you want to learn what to not to be specifically,
I would agree with you on everything you said there, and I would add to it. The problem with the Cowboys has always been that Jerry Jones has too much of a hand in the limelight, right? So he loves to shine, right? And if you bring Deion, who also loves to shine, they may butt heads on that because the last two times he had coaches that were up there in that bravado, right? Jimmy Johnson was one, and the reason why that separated because again, Jerry couldn't take him having that much spotlight, him being the reason why they won. He couldn't take that. But also the next guy, Bill Parcells, he couldn't take him having that type of bravado and that type of cachet or whatnot. So now you bring in Deion, and he's gonna have that same aura, if not even bigger. And he hasn't even won a game in the NFL as a coach. So you're bringing all these things to it, but also the thing about those two guys that I mentioned that Deion has as well, and you just said as well how serious they take the game and what they do. They want full control of the entire thing. I'm picking these players. I am coaching these players. I'm cutting said player. They don't want you to be jumping in and out of rooms and meeting rooms just to say, hey, just to show your face. Nah, you need to be up there and watch me win these games. You have to do exactly what Deion does really well. Is I hired you as a coach, as my OC, and I need you to be my OC. I hired you as my D-line coach. I need you to be my D-line coach, right? And do your job. Because if you don't do your job, I'm going to let you go. So when it comes down to it, Deion is going to have that same type of expectation from Jerry Jones is, Jerry, let me do my job. And I'll get you the wins that you want. And the league is already too tough to be dealing with the owner as well as dealing with the players and dealing with everything else on the outside. So is it a win-win? It's a win in terms for Cowboys in terms of having another big name there, because the star has definitely lost its shine. It is again, they have monetized, they've made so much money. Like you said, they are the most valuable franchise in all of sports, and they are doing their thing. However, on the field, the product, the expectations, we don't expect them to compete for championship. We basically expect them to compete to get into the first round of the playoffs, because we can't see them getting the first round bye in this day and age of the Cowboys. In a modern age, and if you are 30 and under, you have never seen the Cowboys win anything, and that is a problem. That is a dramatic problem, especially in this day and age. It is a dramatic problem. Is the job as coveted as it once was? If you take Jerry out the picture, it becomes what everybody expected to be. You got a nice facility.
What?
You're in Dallas. You have, and they've mentioned this also on another network. First Take, they actually mentioned this as well. Jeff Saturday, he mentioned it. He said the Cowboys have probably had one of the best rosters in the last 20 years. They've had they're consistently one of the best rosters. So we don't have a problem with you drafting certain players. We have a problem with you. We're a problem with everything else. The expectation is to win. And
Exactly, because Jerry, like you said, Jimmy, you said Bill. The main thing about those two guys, you kind of hit it. When it comes to football, ain't too many much more people that much better than those two guys at football. When you think about coaching, those are two names that always get brought up. Did it in college and pros. Bill Parcells, his disciple, has the most rings. So
in college and NFL.
Yeah, and so you got Jerry. Yeah, Jerry, you played college football. You ain't coached nothing. You've been around it, and that's great. These guys know football in and out. You have drafted some great players. But don't sit up there and think that you know more football than these guys. And second, we don't need you voicing every opinion that you have in your mouth. You are an owner. Own the team. You are a GM. Draft and play my players. That's what you paid for. That's who you are. Let me coach. Let me be that voice. I don't need players going past me to talk to you. They talk to me, I'll talk to you. That's how this cycle goes. And then you got somebody like Deion. Deion ain't going for that. He gonna tell you straight up, Jerry, you the boss. Down here, I'm the big man. And if you can't accept that, regardless of how much you want to pay me, you won't have to pay me. You have to respect who the coach is. And if you're not going to let the coach be the coach, there's no point in hiring that person.